It's time for The Local with your host and realtor, Katie McKinney.
Hey guys, it's Katie and welcome to The Local. Today I have the privilege of having Travis Jett on the podcast. Travis, thanks for being here.
That's great to be here with you, Katie.
Yes, of course. So he's somebody I've been wanting to have on for a while. Kyle told me that I should have you on for a while. And you're kind of new to the area, but not really. So I first want to talk a little bit about you and what you're doing currently. Travis is an attorney for Hodgden Law, and but he's no stranger to Northwest Oklahoma. I moved here from Oklahoma City area, Edmond area, and but tell us a little bit about where you are from originally.
Well, I went to high school at Laverne, but I'm actually from the greater Slapout area. Now I say greater Slapout because we weren't actually counted in the population of 8 people. We were in the suburbs.
Yes, you were.
But I grew up on a ranch in Slapout, went away for college and law school, and then practiced law in Oklahoma City for about 10 years. Met my lovely wife, and we had 2 kids. And for both of us, the draw to be around family, and for me, the draw to be close to home, it just got stronger and stronger, and eventually we did it, and are really glad to be here.
Yes, well, we are happy, very happy that you guys are here. So a little bit, obviously Laverne is where you went to school.
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about that experience. What were you? He's famous, guys, by the way. If you drive into Laverne or anywhere in Laverne, there's going to be a sign about him. Tell us a little bit about what you did there other than graduate high school.
Yep, So the sign, for better or for worse, is a derivative of my FFA experience.
Yes.
So I was an FFA member in high school, and then my senior year I ran for state office, eventually became the state president for Oklahoma FFA, and then was national FFA president. And so for a year during college, I took a year off college and basically just traveled around the country, spending time with FFA members and others in the agricultural community, and it was quite an experience. Not something that you totally get to expect to do.
Yes.
During college years. Met the president, met the Secretary General of the UN. And it was a great experience.
Yeah, that's once in a lifetime experiences.
Absolutely.
On some of them. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's really neat. Which president did you meet?
President Bush.
Oh, that's awesome. Yep. That would be cool. I would have had that celebrity shock of not knowing what to say or anything. Just like I would have given him the peace sign, probably the awkward, you know.
I do awkward well.
Yeah,
so
good,
right
good, awesome. And I mean that takes a lot. That's a lot of time and effort, but also just, achieving that. I'm sure you went through a lot. So anyway, I didn't know this until I drove through Laverne a couple months ago, and I texted Travis and Emily, and I said, I didn't know, I was had clients that were famous. They're celebrities. And so, but anyway, super, super neat. And then where'd you go to college?
I went to undergrad at Oklahoma State, was an ag business major there, absolutely. And then on to law school after that.
And you went to?
I went to Georgetown University in Washington, D.C.
He acts like that's very easy to get into. I've looked at their scores there. You got to be pretty smart.
They'll take anybody.
Whatever. They will not. I've looked into it. I had a couple of friends that were out of Stillwater that, applied, and it's a very, very good law school from what I hear.
It is, and being in Washington, D.C. was a good experience, and at the same time, it made me appreciate Northwest Oklahoma.
Home. Yep, ready to go home. Good. Best of both worlds then. Okay, awesome. And then a little bit about your practice there when you were practicing in Oklahoma City. Full-time there in Oklahoma City. What did you mostly do?
Yep, so I was a partner at a large law firm downtown, did a lot of different litigation type work, a lot of governmental type work, and, just kind of a broad variety of things, a lot of things that I continue to do today here.
Yep,
so
exactly.
it's one of the nice things about today's world is you can do a lot more practicing law remotely and being where you want to be instead of tied to your desk.
Yes.
And I'm taking advantage of that fully.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. Well, and I think it is really neat because we may not have the same, the larger companies or corporations here, but you can still, represent those people there and really anywhere. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So a big draw of coming back and taking on this kind of practice and supplementing what I was doing is the chance to work with people. Sometimes you can kind of feel like a cog in a wheel
Right.
and you don't see actual human beings and don't deal with people's actual the issues that they're dealing with.
Right.
So getting to do that and be closer to people and help them through, planning or whatever challenges it is they're going through.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing about coming back here.
That's really neat. Yeah. I think it is because, you get into a habit sometimes day after day, and especially I'm sure with kind of the corporate world or different entities there, it seems like, you're just a piece of the puzzle.
That's
and
right.
You don't get to really deal with people's emotions a whole lot necessarily, unless they're mad, and then we deal with them a lot. But, the day to day. And
That's
so also what's really neat, and I'm sure you felt this, is you get to deal with families. Family in general. Obviously, your family is here and local, but a lot of family. But then also, the people that you're doing business with potentially are, friends in the community and at, whatever organizations that you're in. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's right. You're vested in what they're doing, whether it's their business or how they're planning for their family's future.
Right.
You're not just helping them. You know who it's going to impact. And
exactly.
It's rewarding.
Excellent. So I won't have any specific law questions because, I think those can get a little bit tricky sometimes. But what are,
and everyone would be bored to death.
And everybody would be like, what is he talking about? Some of these words we don't even know. But in regards to our Northwest Oklahoma area and, listeners, what are a few things that you do help with here? I know you can do it all, but what do you kind of specialize in, if you will, here in the Woodward area? And I know that it expands, and if somebody needs something, but tell us a little bit about how you can best serve Northwest Oklahoma in what categories?
Sure. So any types of litigation that people may be involved in, definitely have a lot of experience doing that.
Okay.
Planning for estates and what the family business looks like going forward, definitely have that type of expertise too. So be it your personal, be it your business, we're here to serve you. There are now 5 of us over at the firm, so all of us have touched on about every issue that you would have in some way or the other.
And great individuals there.
That's right.
They're fantastic individuals. I won't say favorites because you can't do that, especially if people are listening, and there will be a few others listening. You're my favorites too. But there are some fantastic people there at Hodgden Law, all the way from the admin and the paralegals. I don't know the correct terms, receptionists and paralegals, but also the attorneys. You got a great group of people there.
Absolutely.
So when you say litigation, just for an average person like me, what type of litigation does that encompass?
Yeah. So it could be disputes arising out of your property. It can also be litigation in the sense of settling a probate after someone has passed and they're transferring the property on to the next generation.
Okay.
So basically everything in which someone has to file a lawsuit.
Got it.
We're there to help.
Okay. So that would mean, if somebody has a question as far as, like I have a lot of investors, and they have a tenant.
That's right.
That has not left.
That's right.
So they could come to you.
That is correct.
And they could start that process of evicting that person, essentially.
That's right.
Within some of the terms, but they could do that.
Yep.
As well as attorney title opinions, because in the state of Oklahoma, you have to have an attorney title opinion. Kyle would say you don't technically have to, but it's best practice to, and a lot of our title companies require it, or it's a pretty essential thing. And then obviously if you have any title insurance, you got to have an attorney title opinion.
That's right.
Or somebody to review it. So you can do all of that as well.
All of those things.
Okay, excellent. Oil and gas.
That's right. So it's an important part of our economy here,
Right.
and representing people in dealing with oil and gas companies is something that we do as well. So so it is a big part of our business and a big part of our economy.
Yeah, and wind energy is getting bigger, or it is big, but it's getting bigger and bigger.
That's
and
right.
There's actually a lot of oil and gas and wind energy. There's usually a lot of the average farmer or rancher, and they've got an issue. They don't know who to talk to.
Yep.
And it can be a little overwhelming to try to figure out how to work on that. So they can just come in and get an appointment with you, and you can help guide them in the right way.
That's right. We see all sorts of different issues that people are dealing with, different documents that they're getting.
Yeah.
Is there something I need to be thinking about? Is there something I'm overlooking? I have found that people here are savvy and tend to be good business people, and a lot of times they know what their feelings are about what something is if it's correct or not. They're usually not too far off,
Right.
But it's nice to have someone say, absolutely, you've got it just right, and here's maybe one or two things we could tweak.
Yes, I love that, and I also love the idea of they don't want to think that. They always want to think that the other person is good.
Yes.
Here in our area, where I feel like we have salt of the earth people, we all inherently we think everyone locally and nationally is salt of the earth.
Yes.
They're salt of the earth people as well, and we all that's a good trait to have.
Yeah, it is.
But it could also be a negative thing. So I hear of issues all the time on the legal side where you let somebody, real estate side.
Yep.
So you let somebody stay a couple extra days in their rent after you've asked them to move out. You get in there and there's $15,000 worth of repairs that you need to do. Yes, you ask them politely, but sometimes asking politely is not going to get it.
That's true. So it's definitely true that not everyone in other places around the world have the same business ethics that we do.
Yes.
A lot of times, too, it's not when it's local people dealing with each other. It's not it's not a situation of where someone is intentionally acting in bad faith.
Right.
It's just you haven't had a meeting of the minds of what the two need to accomplish.
Ooh, I like that.
And that's really an important thing that we can assist with because, when you see these transactions happening over and over, you see the types of things that the two sides think they're agreeing but might be missing something. The principle that good fences make good neighbors.
Yes.
The same thing applies when you're entering into a business deal too.
Yeah.
Talking about things at the beginning, everyone thinking about what needs to happen, thinking about what's in their interest. That means that there's no surprises later down the road.
I love that. I have a shirt to go along with that line of things. I can't remember where I got the shirt from, but it says, love your neighbor, brand your cattle. And I thought if that doesn't say Northwest Oklahoma, so that term about the fences is definitely important too. And you're right. A lot of it sounds to me a lot like mediation, but it's different.
It's
right?
a huge part of what we do. So
you try to mediate until you can't.
People are in a dispute, and you just can't help but getting frustrated to be in the dispute.
Right.
And so sometimes having a neutral third party come in, and it can really be helpful to allow everyone to pare back of the emotion of the situation,
right,
and get down to what's really the disagreement here and how do we bridge that gap. It's a huge part of what we do.
Yeah, excellent. How many people do you think that, this is just a random question, you may not know the answer. I don't think I would know the answer, but how many people do you think Hodgden Law helps a year?
That is a great question.
Like for me, it's easy because I can say houses, people, families, different things. But
so we do keep track of files, and I'm not sure what the numbers are. I'll tell you, it's way more than what I used to do in my old practice.
Yes.
You have way more individual matters than what I did, and it's one of the things that's neat about this practice.
Yeah.
I think it's not like you are stuck in one case
Mhm.
for a long time. There's
Right.
a bunch of different matters
Yeah.
that you are bouncing between. So I don't know what the specific numbers are,
Yeah.
but it would be a big
lot.
number.
Yeah. Well, that's what kind of the point of it is that you're reaching a lot of people in the area
Mhm.
and you're making an impact in their lives. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
We need people like you to help mediate those situations because you're right. I mean, just like me, if I had a situation, you need to call somebody that has that advice and, the legal means to think through it, and also the third party. Sometimes you just need a third party.
Yep.
And so you guys, you really service a lot of people with a lot of honesty and integrity, in my opinion. That's my professional opinion as far as that goes. But I really think that's neat. One question about, obviously, moving back to Northwest Oklahoma, what's your favorite part about this area?
So whenever we were considering the move,
Mhm.
I've been to a lot of different small towns in
Mhm.
Oklahoma.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I enjoy so much about Woodward is we have a fully ingrained community right here.
Yes.
Unlike a lot of small towns, I mean, there are a lot of activities. There are a lot of
Yeah.
things to do. You can get the things that you need in
Mhm.
Woodward,
Mhm.
and we're self-sufficient in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool.
It is.
It's not as if everyone goes to a larger city
Mhm.
whenever it's time to go out for supper
Yes.
or a time to go do other types of entertainment.
Mhm.
It's here, and we really think that's neat
Yeah.
to be in a self-sufficient
Mhm.
small town. It's where we want to be, where we want to raise our family.
Well, that's neat. That's actually the first time I've heard that answer, and I love it because you're so right. We're a hub.
We are.
We're a hub.
Yep.
And so instead of, yes, you have to go to Oklahoma City or maybe Enid for specific things.
Right.
But in general, you can get it all here.
Yep.
And so whether it's, your home improvement project or your appliances or, your legal work or you could even buy a house too here as well. But you could do a lot of things here. You can do everything. And so I think that's really neat. That's one thing I love about it too. We service a lot of small communities around here that are fantastic communities, but also they'll know where to go for some good legal advice too. How can someone reach you?
That's right. So you can call or email. You just go onto Google, Hodgden Law Firm. Our phone number will come up, and be happy to visit and meet with you and talk through whatever's going on.
Excellent. They do have an office here as well that's very conveniently located, I feel, off of 9th Street. So easy enough to get to. But thank you so much for coming on the podcast, being who you are, and for moving back to Northwest Oklahoma. We're happy you're back.
Well, I'm happy to be here.
Yes.
I appreciate the chance to be with you.
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate your help and guidance as we move back to the community.
Yes.
And happy to be on the podcast.
Yes. Thanks so much, Travis. Take care.
Thank you.